Well, it's early November 2025, and as you've probably noticed if you've been following the news, and especially the news about the Philippines, it's been a really rough year, rougher than most when it comes to earthquakes, a volcano, and most especially the typhoons. So what I wanted to do today is just kind of put it into perspective, because I know that's probably concerned you. Do I want to vacation there? Do I want to relocate there? Does this happen all the time? So let's just go ahead and dive into that and just, again, take a bit more of a balanced look at things. Now, the volcanoes, we'll just kind of start with that and get that out of the way. It's very rare that you get one that erupts, and it's not like Pompeii where the whole city is sitting there at the foothills. So I really wouldn't worry too much about the volcanoes. That leads us to the earthquakes. Now, in 2013, there was a really big earthquake on Bohol, which was about a 7.2. Since then, there have been earthquakes, and earthquakes are really a regular thing, especially what they call the Ring of Fire throughout Southeast Asia and all the way around. Now, the reason the earthquakes have been kind of a big deal this year in 2025 is because they have been in the 7.0 range and have caused some damage. I believe at this point we've had at least 3 major earthquakes, which is not normal. Every year there are probably anywhere from 50 to 100 earthquakes, which are like maybe a 2.0, a 1.5. They happen all the time. You can go to these different websites that track earthquakes, and you can pick the country and everything, and you'll be surprised. There's a lot of little earthquakes all the time. You just either never notice them, they don't make the news because they don't cause a lot of damage. But this particular year, it has been a bit excessive when it comes to the earthquakes. Every once in a while, you could be living in, say, California, like I was, and experience a 7.0 earthquake. Now, in the Philippines, the only place that seems to be earthquake-free is Palawan. Hardly any earthquakes seem to make their way out to Palawan. So when it comes to earthquakes, I don't worry about it. I mean, in the 13 years that I've been here, we've had 2 what I would call major 7.0 earthquakes, and to me that's just not a whole lot. Which leads me to the main emphasis I wanted to spend more time on, which is the typhoons. Philippines gets anywhere from 8 to 11 typhoons a year. But normally, it's just what we would call a rainstorm. It's nothing major, and it really is normally not a problem. It's just simply some wind, some rain. We're talking winds maybe 15 to 20 miles an hour. Not a big deal. I mean, you probably experienced the same back home. However, 2025, I lost count after the 4th or 5th typhoon we just had, and right now it's early November. Seems like we've been having them since June. This is not normal. This has been a really excessive and strange time for extra rainfall when it comes to typhoons. And one of the typhoons which made its way onward to Hoi An in Vietnam, that is considered like an ancient city, or I don't know if ancient is the right word, but it's a very traditional city that has been around for a long, long time. If you've ever been there, it's very beautiful. But they just had the worst rainfall and flooding they've had in like 85 years. And here in the Philippines, the storms, now this is a good piece of information for you to consider. Over the years, I would say 90, maybe even 95% of the typhoons that I've been seeing for the last 13 years, they start out on the east coast of the Philippines, out in the ocean. They come towards the Philippines as if they're going to head towards central Philippines, which is known as the Visayas. And then before actually hitting onto Cebu, because of the lower barometric pressure, they go north, kind of at a 45-degree angle. That's like 95% of the storms that come here, they do that. And so what ends up happening is they'll hit landfall right around Leyte somewhere, and then they continue to plow their way, northwest, going through Manila and just that whole path as they cross over the Philippines to the other side. Now, that's the majority of the storms. So if you don't want to be in streets that are flooded, I would just recommend don't live in northern Philippines, because that is where the majority of the typhoons are going to go, and that is where the flooding is going to be. Now, that being said, 5 to 10% of the typhoons head in towards Cebu from the east, and they make their way west, and they actually do go through Cebu, Bacolod, Iloilo, and just plow on through to the other side. It's kind of rare, and it just happened here not even a few days ago. These are the storms that you're seeing now with all that water damage there in Cebu. I mean, we're talking, anywhere from 5 to 8 feet deep of water. The water's deep enough that it's just like a river taking the cars with it. People are stranded on the tops of their roofs. And this is in Cebu, which rarely has this kind of a problem. So it's really taken a lot of the people by surprise. Entire barangays that were just, kind of small shanty towns, they just literally got wiped off the terrain. There was like nothing left. It was just, and there's been some deaths. But what I want to stress here is that this particular year, if this is your first time that the Philippines has come up on your radar, this is not normal. This has been a year, 2025, for excessive earthquakes and excessive rainfall due to the typhoons. The Philippines has taken a real hit when it comes to tourism, about 28% lower now than what it was in 2019. And it's pretty evident. Like, I was just down at Lota Beach the other day, just hardly anybody there compared to what there usually is. And you've probably seen it on Facebook, all the different interviews and comments by Filipinos. Tourism is down. There's just no way around it. And all of these typhoons and earthquakes really aren't helping matters. Now, is there a silver lining to this? Sort of, for us expats. I mean, it's a horrible, terrible series of just really bad events for the people that are affected, the people that their roofs got torn off, their homes got just obliterated, people lost lives. For them, it's been pretty harsh, and I really do feel bad. I mean, I've seen this for years, but this year it's been so heavy, I really do feel bad for a lot of the people here. Now, as far as you as an expat, the fact that tourism is down also means that you can negotiate better rents when you're in the Philippines. It's kind of like when you're evaluating a stock or a crypto. When people are fearful and they leave the market, of course the prices go down. When a place is a hot spot and everybody wants it, the prices go up. We all know that, supply and demand. So we're in a period now, 2025, where Philippines has already had a lower than usual number of tourists and expats visiting, and then came the earthquakes, and then a volcano, and then all these floods. So I don't recommend that right now you really look into Manila and the other areas up north that were hit hardest by the typhoon. What I recommend is, if you want to go ahead and take advantage of the lower prices on Airbnbs and tourist places to visit and all that, just basically experiencing the Philippines. If you want to do that right now, what I would recommend is go ahead and land at Cebu Airport. That'll make your life so much easier. If you go to Manila, you're going to have issues with, again, they're trying to recover from a lot of this water damage and everything. Plus, it's just a harder place to deal with, Manila versus Cebu. So what I would recommend is, if you plan on having your vacation or your visit, you're going to scout it out, see if you want to retire here or whatever, fly into Cebu and then do your research, figure out where you want to go outside of Cebu. Now, Bohol, which is where I'm at, everything is normal. We got some rain, but no water damage. I mean, everything's just operating just like usual. So yeah, Bohol is one option. Davao is another. From Cebu Mactan Airport, you can catch a flight. It's about 45, 50 minutes to Davao. Davao del Sur is nice. I've spent time there. I've also spent time in central Davao. It's safe. It's wonderful. Again, just a great place to be. If you really want to come over in the next month or so, or even the next week, I would recommend Bohol and Davao. So just some things to take into consideration. Again, 2025, this has been a really rough year weather-wise for Filipinos. Just kind of take that all into consideration. Love to hear from you. Any other areas that you're living in right now in the Philippines that are just great for tourism? Everything's okay. The roads are clear. You can get in through the airport or the ferry, and you can still plan your visit here to the Philippines.